What's up, PB Cashewville? It's your boy Cashew, and right beside me is your boy PB, and we are going to be talking about today songwriting with PB. Hit it. What's up, PB Cashewville? It's your boy Cashew, and right beside me is your boy.
BB.
And today we are going to be interviewing PB.
You are?
Yes, we are.
I feel so honored and loved.
Well, we had an interview with me, which I didn't think it was kind of it didn't it came out of nowhere. So I want to have an interview with you.
Oh,
Last week we
okay.
talked about my beats. We were just having fun with that. So I said,
Cool.
why don't we do an interview?
Oh, yeah,
And
sure.
my questions, I'm gonna ask you questions about your personal life, not personal
My
life,
personal life.
your personal life about songwriting. If that makes
Personal.
sense.
Oh,
It's your songwriting, if that
my
makes sense. I
songwriting.
made a
Okay.
mistake multiple times. I apologize for that.
Nope, nope, nope,
But my
no, no
first
doubt.
question is, what got you into songwriting?
What got me into songwriting is primary. If you were to think about like who it comes down to, it's really like my mom and my dad because they were the ones who got me into singer songwriters back in the day. They really got me into the Beatles, which I know people are like, oh my gosh, the Beatles, really? But I really enjoyed like their music growing up, but also a lot of other singer songwriters like John Denver, Jim Croce, um, Gordon Lightfoot. A lot of you're like, who are these people? Well, a lot of the singer songwriters that you know now, these are their influences, and the style that these things are written. Also, like guys like Elton John, guys like Billy Joel is also another one of my favorite favorite songwriters. Um, Joan Baez, I think she's also pretty good. A lot of really good songwriters from like the yeah, of course, Simon and Garfunkel were also my other influences, and yeah, so mom and dad really got me into that growing up. And in fact, I listened to more of that than the more modern music of the time. Like during the '90s, I didn't really listen to a lot of the stuff that then, but really got interested in their music. And dad got me a guitar. He got me a nylon string guitar that we found at a tag sale. He just said, "Okay, I'm going to give you these three chords. You learn how to do it." I mean, interesting enough, the first song that I learned how to play was "Amazing Grace."
Mm.
I learned "Amazing Grace" was the first song that I learned to play, and he's like, "Really? That's a pretty cool thing." Oh, of course. And I was like, I missed Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was another one of the singer songwriters that not necessarily influenced me, but like that I learned how to play. Like "The Times They Are Changing" was actually one of the first songs that I learned how to play too. So, yeah, in terms of singers, like songwriting, I didn't really start writing songs until probably college. And I think, as most people will know, that most of the times that you write songs to impress a girl, or you're writing a song because you're trying to get over the fact that a girl doesn't like you or something like that. But the first one that I think I successfully wrote was for a girl that I liked in college. I'm not going to say who because then that person might be like, "Oh, really? Oh my gosh, I didn't know." And it's like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, it's still actually to this day. I don't know if I'll ever record it and cut it and and put it up there. But it's okay. I listened to it now. I played it again a couple times. It's called Astrolab. It's not bad. It's not as good as some of the songs that I've written more recently, but yeah, it's okay.
All right, and you used to be in a band. Tell me about that. Tell me about your band, because I remember you. I know you told me stories about it,
Oh
but
yeah, we used to be in a band called Emblem. It was me and two of my buddies from high school, John, Tom, and Anthony. Anthony was an awesome drummer. He moved to Florida. Tom was a great guitarist. He was the one who kind of also got me a little bit into the punk rock stuff back in college. He was fun to play with. John is the bassist. He's been a good friend of mine. He's still one of my good friends to this very day. He actually gives us a lot of feedback about. One of our subscribers, which is cool. And so yeah, we were four guys, and then we just said, "Hey, you know what? Let's play together." And so we started practicing in the basement of Tom's apartment, and then we said, hey, you know what? Let's see if we can cut a demo. So we pulled our money together, and it cost us about $1,000, and we were able to record a 6 song demo. It was pretty good too. And in terms of the songwriting there, I think it was predominantly more John and Tom. I guess I don't know. I don't really remember if I wrote any of the stuff. I remember writing the lyrics for one, but in terms of the other stuff, not so much. But it was a different style. Uh, it was good. We played not too many gigs. We played only like 2 public gigs. One at both were at the Manhattanville College where I went, and one was for one of a girl's birthday party. That's it. And so it was an interesting experience. The coolest compliment that we got though from people was that they said that we sounded a lot like the Ramones. And I don't know if you guys know who the Ramones are, but they're really one of the godfathers of punk rock. So yeah, they said that we sounded like it. So some critics saying that about us was a pretty cool point of praise.
All right, yes, that's good. So, the question is, what is your favorite song that you wrote?
Oh man, probably the best song that I wrote was "Oh Great Jehovah God," because what really brought me back to songwriting was really singing more songs about the Lord. I can't claim full credit for it because one of the girls I was talking to at the time, she gave a lot of feedback about it and gave me a lot of critiques and like about what to add, what to subtract, what you should try doing that here. So I can't take full credit for it, but it is my favorite song to sing because it's really just it's not. This is what I always say. It's not to me or to anybody. It's just a song to God Himself, and so I think that's where the power of it comes. It came out of a time in which you're seeing God how good He is and how powerful He is, and just wanting to express it. And the song also just talks about it. And it's if you want to hear it, I'll try to find a link to it, and I'll probably put it in the description. It's probably one of the YouTube videos that we have at Northeast Baptist Church. But what's if not, I think I can try to post it one of these days. But but yeah, I think that's probably the best one, my favorite one that I've written because it's not me. It's not about me, and I think that's the difference with writing for the Lord and writing for yourself. Is that there's a greater purpose and I think a greater value when you're singing a song to God rather than uh, singing a song to glorify yourself. I think there's and as cool and I'm not knocking folks that are writing good songs just to kind of make themselves look good because I know that might be their job, but I think there's a lot greater value when you are singing a song unto the Lord.
Do you have any favorite moments of writing a song?
The once you get it all right, because there's some times when a chord progression's not going to work, or when a verse doesn't work, or do I add a bridge here? Do I make is this too long? Is this too short? And so yeah, with me, the best moment really is when it all comes together. Uh, and plus the other thing too is if when it makes a difference, because a lot of times you'll write a song and then it doesn't really do anything, but once and it's try not to be like you try to stay humble with it because you don't want to be cocky or arrogant about it when you say, oh, someone said, oh, I really loved your song. But my hope is that especially with the songs I write now, or whenever I sing, whether I'm covering a song or whether I'm singing an original song, it's like my hope is always that God's glorified out of it. I mean, yeah, if I have the skill and someone appreciates that, that's cool. But what really makes more of an impact, I guess, is that has it improved your relationship or has your appreciation for who God is uh, really changed things or has improved it? Has it added to it? That's really the greatest moment in terms of songwriting for me.
Okay, that's good. Now I know you have a specific way of doing your songwriting because I
Uh huh.
remember you help me out with one of my, like a
Yeah.
song I was writing.
Yes.
Explain to me or explain to us about how you do songwriting, like your way of doing it.
There's two ways usually from what people always see. One of my friends, Arlie, he was the guy that I was with in the music scene and the musicals that we had in back in high school. You can either write the melody first or you can write the words first. I'm usually sometimes the melody first, and then I'll write the lyrics later. Or sometimes it's vice versa. I'll have a piece of poetry that I've written, and then I'll put the music towards it. Unfortunately, sometimes when I'm trying to come up with it, I'll think of certain progressions that I know of, even coming from other songs, and then try to see if I can incorporate a new melody using that same particular chord progression. Because like C, A minor, G, D is a very common chord progression. I think most songs will probably have that chord progression, but it's how you arrange it and how the melody sounds, and that'll be the things. Because we were just listening to, what's the name of that
Sorry,
band that you were talking about?
Dane and Shay.
Dan and Shay. Yeah, when I was listening to Dan and Shay on the way to recording today, I was like, oh, I know that chord progression, but again, it's a completely different work because they've got their own style and it's a different melody and it's a different subject matter, different kind of genre. So because it's a different kind of genre, it's its own particular thing. So I guess it's whichever comes first, and then you take it from there. That's the best thing in terms of songwriting. But just like with anything, just study how people do it, the process. But most of the time, in fact, like what's funny, some songs, the melodies for certain songs or the ideas for certain songs will come like at the weirdest times of the day. And like I think there's one artist, I forget who it is. It's either U2 or the Rolling Stones. I think it was the Rolling Stones, and I think Keith Richards comes up with a particular riff, and then he hits record on his recorder, and then he forgets to turn it off. So it's 5 seconds of the actual song, and then 6 hours of him snoring. Or there's also the stories of like how Fanny Crosby does it. Now Fanny Crosby, she just had the touch of God of her whenever she came up with her melodies. Someone would just give her a piece of poetry, and then all of a sudden she'll have it. But that's someone that's again that's going back to the touch of the Lord, but it still goes back to the same particular premise. It's hey, I've got this piece, and then how to find out the other piece. So that's the basic process of it. But the thing is, reworking, revising, just with anything. Sometimes, you'll take a look at a song. Jehovah God actually is one that I don't really change so much. There are some that I would make some edits here and there. For example, there was a song that, and here's a cool thing. Sometimes it'll just come to you. This is just one cool story. Me and Lucas, he goes to your church, and then we were just coming back from Wednesday night Bible study, and it was Christmas time, and then we just started to write a song. And this one I wish I found, but I think I kept it somewhere pretty cool. We wrote the entire song in the span of a few minutes, and we wrote it on a Dunkin' Donuts bag. And it became one of the songs that we had to do. But here is the problem: when we actually went to go and sing it, Lucas couldn't. The part that I wrote for Lucas couldn't go because he was sick that day. So I had to kind of revise it. So it's always that's also the other part of the
I
process.
think I remember that song.
Yeah,
I believe I do.
and it's part of the process. And you and I have actually written one too.
Oh gosh,
Yeah, and it's still one of the coolest songs you have because it has that simplicity.
that's a funny story
Yeah,
though.
but the good thing about it is you always add, you subtract, you try to see what other things will work, what other things don't work, and you take it from there.
Yeah, okay. I know this. When I listen to you, when you sing and stuff, you like to rhyme a lot, don't you?
Oh no, that's just it, it's a part of the lyrics writing. Um, I don't know, it just has a better flow when it rhymes, I guess, but it doesn't always necessarily have to. Um,
But
but
most of your songs they rhyme.
yeah,
Like every time when I hear you sing, most of them they
yeah.
rhyme.
and it has that also takes a little bit of work because you just don't want to force the rhyme. You want to
Yeah.
choose the right word for that particular tone. You can't just be like sock, dock, rock, spock, knock. And so it's like so you're not going to just choose a word just because it rhymes. You got to choose the word because it's the right word and it fits. So that's I guess the other part of the songwriting process is to choose the right words. Like for example, the word let's see like the word uh, adore, okay? Adore or like you're someone that I like versus you're someone I adore. So there's some times where you would say where you would use the word uh, like these are like a you can do whatever you like. It doesn't really work with you can do whatever you adore. See,
Yeah.
so in terms of that, you have to also see what um like Father, I adore you. It's like the difference between Father, I adore you, lay my life before you. It's not Father, I like you, lay my. So it doesn't. So you also have to pick the right words, and that also takes for me now, especially when you're writing spiritual songs. That requires a partnership with God because again, it's the main focus when you're writing. I think actually, you know what? That's the other thing before you start writing a song, you have to think about what kind of song do you want to write. Are you writing a song just to write the song for writing a song's sake because it sounds cool? Great. And then, but if you're writing a song for like, what's the reason why you're writing it? And that's also important. So once you have these particular questions that you need to answer, then you can start the particular process in doing it. But sometimes people are just like, I just want to write a song, boom, and then they write a song and it's good. I sometimes hate Ed Sheeran for that because I heard he's really good at doing that.
Now there's a lot of artists that know how to write their own songs. So like, but tell us a story about the song you and I wrote. Tell us that story.
Oh man, Jesus wept. We wanted to write a song that was simple but deep. But for some reason, what was great about the song "Jesus Wept" is also it's scriptural. That's the other important thing about it. Uh, and plus because it was we had three people singing in it, you had to kind of make sure that everybody contributed something, so you had to write particular parts for a particular people. So when I had to write the part, when we wrote the part for you, Matt, like the verses was tailored to how you would sing it, and then the second part of the verses was tailored to how I would sing it, and then when we did the chorus, we tailored something so that way it would be something that where all of our voices kind of helps out, and then Lucas also helped out with that one, and he said that and so his range is a little bit it's also using who you've got. That's also the thing with when you're producing your songs. And this is something to for you to remember of somebody who's going to be producing someday. It's that you have to take a look at your personnel and your staff, who's writing, what their strengths are. Because I can't sing high notes as well as Lucas can. Um, you can sing certain notes lower than better than I can, believe it or not. And then in terms of it's using who you've got to be able to get what you get out of it, and it's one of my favorite songs honestly because it's simple, but the other thing too, it's talking about one of my favorite lyrics there that we came up with was uh
I think I
yeah,
have the
yeah,
song.
the
I have the lyrics.
compassion on from the son of yeah the compassion of the son of man that existed long before time began. I was like, when we came up with that, I was like, that's good because I think you were saying all these different words like here we go. Here it is.
So
The compassion.
it's a low. Oh yeah, the compassion from the Son of Man. It's the
Yeah,
chorus.
the compassion from the Son of Man that has been there since time began. I was like, that's really good. and uh, and plus, when Lucas sings that because it's a higher range, it's really good in terms of there's the passion that's felt with it. So yeah, again, that's the other part of it too. I guess one of the lessons that I learned from that one is trying to come up with or trying to find use your personnel to your biggest advantage in terms of that.
That's good. That's good. I remember us writing that at McDonald's.
That's true.
I remember that
I
too.
forgot that part. Yeah, and that's the other thing. For any songwriter out there, the best thing that you can really do is have a recording device on your phone, uh, pen, paper, because sometimes a lot of the ideas that I've had for songs, they've just come on the way from work or on the way home from work, and then you're like, oh, really, I really need this, and then all of a sudden, you don't have something to write with, and you're driving, and you can't just stop and do it, so you find your voice recorder, you press record on it, and then boom, you're getting the skeleton or like the little bits and pieces that you need to get a song started. So yeah, that's and and plus we were just hanging out at McDonald's like, hey, let's just write a song. They're like and you're like, song about what? Because about let's just pick a verse. Like, what's a simple verse? Oh, Jesus wept. Okay, let's write Jesus wept. What's it about? Uh, Jesus was compassionate. Okay, so and then what's cool is um, you have one verse that talks about something, but another verse that still talks about that same something
The the
in a different light.
the first verse was about Lazarus,
Yeah, and then
and
the
then the
second
second
one
verse
was about Calvary.
it was
Hmm.
Calvary,
Yeah,
and
so
I think we had a third verse, right?
I don't know if we had one, but
I
I
think the
think
third verse was about us.
yeah, I think the thing is the other thing too that you have to also think about is length, because there's times with I think with uh um oh great Jehovah God. I there's two ways that I'll sing it. There's one where it has a bridge, and there's one where it doesn't have the bridge, depending on because there's one there that says when friends may fail me. There's if you see when I've sang it, there's two versions that I kind of do, one that has the bridge and one that doesn't have the bridge. But sometimes you need to know when to cut things down. Uh, Sometimes really really long songs. Some of them are really good and they're really really long, but then sometimes you just have to also cut it down, just to so that it's not being dragged out so much.
You could give one advice to
Hmm?
a songwriter. What would that advice be?
Um, hmm. Like a lot of the things we've been saying now, just be ready, just to be prepared for to 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 just do something. Again, it's why are you writing the song? If you're just writing it for the sake of writing it, just always that would be just be prepared. Have always something to where ideas are coming from because they'll come at any time. Bring a notebook, bring a voice recorder. Um, but if you're writing a song uh, with a more spiritual purpose, prayer is the most important. I mean, with Great Jehovah God, that was whenever I sing it, I say that's not my song. It's not that girl and I song. It's really God's song because it's all about Him, and all of the different things that are talked about in Great Jehovah God are all from Scripture anyway. So it's really God's song. But when you're writing spiritual songs, and the importance of spiritual songs is very crucial. I mean, most of the Bible, a good chunk of the the Bible's verses are about songs and or the music that you sing. So getting God involved in that is the most important thing. So for generic singer songwriters, just be ready with the creative juices, and then study your craft. That's one. But if you're trying to write a song, a spiritual song, get God involved because He's the one who it's all about, and that's the main. You got to keep the main thing, as most people like to say. And whenever it comes to spiritual songs, God's always the main thing.
Good. Well, everybody, that is an interview with PB
Woo!
about songwriting.
Yeah.
He does write songs, and actually, his songs they are really good. I hear them a lot when he's used to sing. Well, I hardly hear them now, but he does tell me that he still writes songs. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely the one thing also that I forget about songwriting. It's very therapeutic. Whenever you're feeling down. In fact, a lot of the songs too that we wrote were because we were in a particularly odd state of affairs, and sometimes just getting our in fact, all songwriting is like this. It's just taking your emotions and expressing them in a creative medium. That's songwriting 101. Like probably if you ask Eminem, that's how he's probably does it. It's just the anger, the rage that he feels is just expressed on paper. But then also, you'll have people that have an adoration of a particular person. I mean, look at the Maroon Five. Their first album was all about one girl, and it's called "Songs About Jane." So that's whatever drives you. But those are great. But again, from what I've discovered, and in fact, the greatest success that I've had in songwriting really is writing songs into the Lord, and that's the. I think that if I were to think about the greatest success is using that talent for His glory and helping people be drawn closer to Him. That's probably why I like doing it, and I hope I get more success in terms of doing that.
Well, that's gonna be it, folks.
Awesome. Oh, you want to do the sign off? You started off, so you got to do it.
So, all right, I'm gonna try. I'm not like how PB, but I'm gonna try. So, like we always say before we end off, we don't know you, but we love you. There's a God above that does. I'm Cashew.
And I'm PV.
Peace
Peace
out,
out, PB
PB
Cashewville.
Cashewville.